Hello, good morning. This is Jack Tubbs from the J Team at Realty One in Surprise, Arizona, coming to you on this almost perfect day here in the valley of Phoenix, Arizona. A little bit overcast, temperatures are nice and cool, got a little breeze coming in. It is a beautiful day here. Hope that you guys are all having a great Tuesday, just like I am. Hey, I want to talk to you a little bit about what is called the appraisal gap. Now, I know most of you probably have an idea of what that is, but with the way things have been going, and we see supply and demand economics being applied to the housing market here. I just heard a report this morning that year over year, we're at almost 30% in value increases throughout the state of Arizona. As a matter of fact, Phoenix itself is the highest raise in real estate values year over year in the entire United States of America. Now, with this comes the supply and demand economics, because when supply is low, and we still have a very low supply of homes available here throughout the valley and throughout the majority of the state, prices continue to rise. And a lot of people are writing contracts, writing sales contracts, making offers above what the property has been listed for sale. Now, what we call that is that there's a gap between the contract and what the listing price was. Now, when it goes to the appraisal, because you got to remember that like 85% of most homes are purchased with a mortgage, and the mortgage is based on the value that it comes back from the appraiser or the appraised value, and the lender is willing to lend money based on the amount of money based on what the appraised value is of the home. Now, what's been happening lately is that we're seeing, because people are paying higher and higher prices above listing, that we're seeing problems with what we call the appraisal gap, which is, in other words, let's say that you decide to offer $500,000 for a home, but the appraisal comes back at $480,000. Now, before, it was called that we would negotiate this back and forth, or the seller would accept the appraisal and the house would sell at $480,000. Well, so many people are making sure that they get the house under contract that they're willing to bring money to the table to bridge that gap. In other words, if it was $480,000, say that the time the contract was signed, that the buyer promised to bring $20,000 to make sure that the seller got $500,000 as opposed to the $480,000 appraised value. Well, that's becoming a little less commonplace, because the gap in appraisals between what the contract price is and what the appraised value of the home comes back after the appraiser runs the numbers is beginning to become more and more commonplace. As a matter of fact, you look at this chart here, we're looking at May of 2019, 2020, we're seeing that only 7% of all transactions had an appraisal gap. In other words, once again, if they offered $500,000, the appraisal came back at $480,000. Only 7% of the homes back in May of 2020 had that problem. Now, as you look through the coming months, as the entire year, now we're up to 20%. So in other words, 20% of transactions, especially here in the valley, are starting to hit this appraisal gap. And what does that mean to sellers and buyers? Well, as sellers, it means that you're probably not going to get that contract price anymore, because buyers are going to start being a little bit tighter with their purse strings. Also, they know that they're already paying an inflated price from what the property would have been valued at just say 12 months ago, and we know that almost 30% increase year over year. They're probably going to say, hey, take the appraised value or not, or I'm going to bring $5,000 in to cover some of that gap, but I'm not going to cover it all. And buyers, what that means to you is that, yes, if you want to make sure that you secure that home and that you are the one who is going to be the new owner of that home, that property, you're going to have to bring some money to the table, because we're seeing more and more instances where there's a gap between contract price and the appraised value. But realize that it's going to affect both the seller and the buyer somewhat. Sellers, like I said, you may not be getting that $20,000, $25,000 over contract price unless the buyer has said, hey, I'm going to bring that cash to the table to bridge any gap between the contract price and the appraised value. But buyers, it still means that there's going to be, if you really want to secure a property, you're going to have to bring some money and guarantee some money above and beyond any shortfalls in the appraisal. So with that said, if I can help you or if I can explain this in any more detail, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. You can get a hold of me directly at 248-330-7972. That's 248-330-7972. Or you can email me, jack@thejteam.house. That's JACK at THE, the letter J, the word team.house. Or you can call the office and talk to myself or any of my team members at 623-252-4061. That's 623-252-4061. Hey, this is Jack Tubbs of the J Team, wishing you a fantastic Tuesday, and I'll see you again tomorrow with more about what's going on in the Phoenix real estate market.